Good morning, everybody. Seagull sounds like I'm at the ocean, but we have a family of seagulls who live across the laneway from us. So funny. Makes me think of the ocean. So I was thinking. About how often we forgive ourselves. Now I know for me that I don't even think about it until I think about it, obviously. But we put so much on ourselves, like even in as we're growing and as we're learning and as we're becoming who we want to be, our best selves, we we sorry, my chair fell backwards. For me, I get into a situation and then I go, what the heck happened, right? But then we don't forgive ourselves and say, "Oh wow, okay, I can easily let it go," and I forgive myself for going down that road. I needed to experience that and let it go. Usually we like focus on, "Wow, how did I end up back here?" and focus on all the the not so good stuff instead of just letting it go. And most of the time we're easier to forgive other people than to forgive ourselves. Excuse me, I dusted my living room the other day, and for me, oh, I can do all things. So I have a I have on my phone uh, reminders for me, alarms that I put up, and they remind me, like, pretty much, especially in the morning. They go off like every half hour, every hour from 6:30, and they're just different little things. And one popped up and it said I can do all things. Remind me to remind myself that anything's possible and I can do this. So a lot of times what happens is we get focused on where we are normally, and then we have like um, a place where we go to, where we visit, put on this costume, try out this act, and then we go, oof, don't like that feeling. And then we're like, where'd that come from? How do we, and we analyze and we focus and we get so involved in the whole aspect of it instead of just going, wow, okay, I get it. Let's move on. Thanks for playing the game. That's not quite who I want to be, and let's move on to who I want to be. And then to forgive ourselves, right? It's like, okay, I forgive you for for playing that role. I forgive you for doing that or for doing this or whatever it is, right? We don't normally forgive ourselves or spend time forgiving ourselves. I just want to be in with the sunflowers. Here's my awesome sunflowers. Look at that. This is a ring of sunflowers, as you can see. Almost. There's just an entrance for me. But I got tons and tons of sunflowers here. So cool. And Rose loves it because it's the most watered area, so it has the best grass. Does it have the best grass? Yeah? She loves grass. So, like, sometimes we want to do things like, say, go for walks more. And this morning, actually, we were supposed to start our dike walk, but we didn't. And I'll explain that in a second. But, like, say you want to exercise more, or say you want to train your dog more, or say you want to take a course and you pay for the course, but then you never do it. Like, then you're like holding yourself, you're, oh, I should have done, I should have been, I shoulda, right? Shoulda, coulda, woulda. But then you don't forgive yourself. It's like, oh, okay, I'll forgive myself for not doing it and I'm going to start, right? So we don't forgive ourselves. We just hold on to it and go, oh, I could have been better. I could have done. I could have, should have, would have. And we don't forgive ourselves. But why not? Why not forgive yourself? Why not go into, sure, maybe you can't go for a walk. Like today, we were going to go for a walk at the dike, and we can't because the smoke in our area from the wildfires are not so good. So it's not really good to go for walks at the moment. So I just stay in the backyard and do what I can do. I have a treadmill. I can go on my treadmill. I can do whatever I want to do. Not go for a walk in the smoke. Especially with my mom. And that was the thing. We were supposed to get back to walking with my mom. If you guys have watched my videos previously, then you know that that's something that we did for the longest time. And then she got sick, and we haven't gone back to it since. She got sick, her dog got sick, and just a whole bunch of little things. And so she's not able to go because she has lung issues, and the smoke would be really bad for her. So here, you're gonna knock over those. Come here, this way. Come, good girl. There you go. But I could like beat myself up about it. Come on, for not going earlier, for not doing whatever, right? But instead, forgive yourself. Because what happens when you don't forgive yourself is you make it worse for yourself. Because then you're just going to find more and more things to pick on about yourself, right? So let's say it's a course that you paid for but you never did, like at all. And if you're like me, that has happened. And you did it or you started it, but then, life happens and you don't finish it and you don't go through it. And then you're like almost at the deadline and you're like, oh man, I really didn't do that. And I really wanted to, but I never made the time. So instead of beating yourself up about it, forgive yourself. Okay, well, that's who I was. I can start right now. I can do what I can do with the amount of time I have, or I can just do the course again and pay for it again and really say to myself, okay, hey, leave the squirrels, and say to myself, okay, I need this time to do that. Or just let it go, because obviously it's something that you thought you were interested in, but you really weren't. And I don't know, for you, what the situation is. It might not be a course. It could be a job. Maybe you wanted to go to a new job, but you never applied for it. So then you kind of feel bad at yourself and like, why didn't I, gee whiz, why didn't I start that business? Why didn't I take that job offer? Why didn't I move to that house? Why didn't I get out of where I am? Whatever the situation is, right? We all beat ourselves up about something. Oh, you whack your face. We all beat ourselves up about something, right? So how do you forgive yourself and move forward? And that's the biggest thing. You could say, I forgive myself, and there's many ways to do it. Like, go to a mirror, right? And if you haven't done any mirror work, it's a good time to start. And just tell yourself, I forgive you. And you can name off everything that you forgive about yourself. You can sit down and write a letter, right? You can go into, do a meditation. And here's Fenris, he's going to whine at me because I'm not petting him, and he thinks that I should be petting him. Is that what you think? You think I should be petting you? See? What are you doing? I'm doing a video here. Okay, get off. You could be, where am I? Writing a letter to yourself. And Rose was digging a hole. So you could write a letter to yourself. Sorry about that. First one, mirror work. Second one, write a letter to yourself, forgiving yourself for whatever it is that you're holding on to. Do a meditation, and in the meditation, forgive yourself. and let it go, move on. Because when the more you don't forgive yourself, so the other day I did a focus one. What are you focusing on, right? So if you're focusing on and you're not even aware of it, but you're focusing on the fact that you never did this thing, or things for that matter, then you're just holding it on and holding and holding and holding. You're not getting anywhere because you haven't forgiven yourself and you haven't let it go. So there's different ways to do it. There's meditation, there's writing a letter, there's mirror work. I love the mirror work. It's so simple. You could just easily, like right this minute, sit here, wherever you are, and just say, I forgive you. I forgive you. And then say your name and say, I forgive you. Think of the thing that you want to be forgiven for. And then allow it to go. No more bringing it back up. No more thinking about it. You were who you were. You did what you did. You did what you had to do at that moment. You had to do that. End of story. There was no other way around it. That was who you needed to be. Okay? So whether it was not taking that course that you already paid for, whether it was not taking that job, you are where you are supposed to be right now, has nothing to do with anything else. That's just where you are. So time to forgive yourself and move on. Move on to who you really want to be instead of focusing on who you were. You are amazing. You are worth it. You are enough. I love you. Make an amazing day, everybody. And forgive yourself.